Hello and welcome to Talk of the Game. It's just finished. West Ham United 2, Newcastle United 0 on Billy Bonds Day. And what a way to celebrate it with two players from the academy getting the goals. We're here to discuss the highlights, what went right for West Ham, what possibly went wrong for Newcastle, and who we thought played particularly well. And Gonzo, we didn't have to wait long for our goal tonight. And we started really well. And in the 6th minute, Declan Rice scored and shushed the away end.
Did he just? And I thought it was quite apt that Declan Rice would score, because we've seen some silly videos from some Newcastle fans during the week, two particularly silly ones, and both of them mentioned Declan Rice. And as you alluded to in the preview, it's just because you like Longstaff, you can't like Declan Rice. So I think that he sort of answered that quite emphatically and went on to have a very, very good game in the midfield, which really we controlled today.
Tom, another goal from a corner, and we're getting good at these. Snodgrass's set pieces have always been on the money, but we're now starting to work out how to put them in the back of the net.
Yeah, we certainly are, and it's great to see, because we were pretty terrible early on in the season at set plays. It weren't one of our strengths, but supposedly, I don't know where I heard it, but that was a main part of what they worked on in Spain. So it's obviously pulled off, because, yeah, that's twice, 2 games in a row now where we've scored from a corner. And, yeah, Snodgrass, he just puts that much pace and whip on the ball. It's so dangerous. A little bit of movement and you're in. And, yeah, fantastic. And credit Declan Rice. It was a brilliant header. And, yeah, delighted with that, mate. Great start for us.
Yeah, the free kicks and corners Snodgrass takes are all on the money every single time. Lanzini plays a big role in this. If you watch it back, Lanzini stands right in front of their keeper. As soon as that ball's delivered, Lanzini stands there. But when it's sort of halfway there, he takes a step away from the keeper as if to say, well, if you're thinking of throwing yourself to the ground or something, good luck, because I am no longer going to be standing beside you. I'm going to peel off and get out of the way of any header that's coming in as well. Lanzini plays a brilliant part of that. But it was really Diop as well, I think, tries to get in the way of Shar, who's trying to chase Declan Rice. Diop, I think, tries to give him a little nudge to get him out of the way. It's just fantastic. Everybody has a role to play. And it's really good to see us capitalising on this, because when you've got someone as good at set pieces as Snodgrass, it's foolish not to, really. 32 minutes, Aaron Creswell went off. We started the game with a broken toe, so his toe, I assume, was giving him too much pain. So he went off. Masuaku came on. Then Gonzo in the 48th minute. We got a penalty. Javier Hernandez went down. Martin, what a penalty! What a strike that penalty was.
Yeah, it reminded me of the fellow, I know it's the other side, but a guy for Chelsea took a good one. As Aspilicueta maybe took a very good one in a cup final. Your goalkeeper's not going to save those. That's it. And it takes nerve to take a penalty like that. Wonderful technique. Of course, he's an expert at taking penalties. I thought Hernandez's touch was excellent as well. It drew the foul. Very, very, very impressive from him. Lots of impressive performances today. But yeah, 2-0 up and in control, Gio.
That's the main thing. Then just before the half time, Tom, sometimes we talk about the offensive players, but there's two. We're going to have to talk about our centre backs equally today. The first Diop's one was just at the end of the first half. Shar broke free in the box from a corner about 8 yards out. Looked like he was ready to pull the trigger, and Diop from nowhere just comes in and makes a block.
Yeah, that was absolutely tremendous, mate. And that is what we've become accustomed to with Diop. These sort of last-ditch sort of tackles and blocks. He's so athletic, and he sticks that big long leg out. And yeah, it's just fantastic to see. And Ogbonna was at that today as well. He made a fantastic one in the second half. Yeah, both centre halves absolutely terrific, and that was vital. If that goes in and makes it 2-1 just before half time, anything could have happened. And yeah, it was really important, mate.
At half time it was 2-0 West Ham. But Tom, were you happy with what you've seen? A little stat for you: in the last 10 minutes of the half, West Ham had 82% possession. I mean, the football, Tom, was just fantastic.
Scintillating, and that's what we've been looking forward to seeing. And a big part of that is quite clearly Lanzini. Gonzo's been banging on the drum for ages about us needing technical players in our side. Well, you add Lanzini to the likes of Anderson, Hernandez. That's what you see. Some of the movement and some of the passing in that first half was absolutely terrific, and it was a real joy to watch. We've seen glimpses of it this season, but it's sort of all come together in that first half. And what's it going to be like when we've got Yarmolenko to add to that? And out of it, it's just fantastic, mate. Loving it. Brilliant.
Hernandez went reasonably close, probably West Ham's closest, apart from a Lanzini shot at the end. Good counter-attack by West Ham, lovely ball in by Fedes, but just too far for Hernandez to get onto. On the 68th minute, he departed. On came Marko Arnautovic. Then in the 78th minute, an already booked Mark Noble went off after having to sort of leave a couple of tackles in the second half. Pedro Obiang came on, and the captain's armband went to Marko Arnautovic, which was an interesting point. Then Gonzo right at the end there, we spoke about Diop. This time it's his centre, his partner, Ogbonna, and Rondon with the shot this time looked like it was destined for the net.
Unbelievable. Balbuena can't walk back. And says the last 3 games, Ogbonna and Diop have just been absolutely sensational. I don't know how many times we caught Man City offside, but I tell you what, they were at it again. And I was watching them, and Diop is leading this. Diop is orchestrating. It's almost like a rugby union line out where one person orchestrates the tactics for it. He is absolutely magnificent. And now they've built up this partnership between them. They look formidable. And I don't just mean in West Ham terms. I mean in terms of other centre-back partnerships in the league. These two are brilliant. And actually, funny enough, I thought for Rice's header, you were right, everybody played their role. If you go and look at that header again, Ogbonna is such a threat from set pieces. You look at the attention that Ogbonna gets, who's just in front. He seems to get the attention. Yes, Rice loses his man, does very, very well. But this is what's going to happen all over the team. You can't just watch one man anymore. And when Tom was just saying about the additional technical players, no more can you double up on Anderson, because you're going to leave Lanzini or somebody. And what's happening now is having more than one good player. It frees up space for everybody else. And this is really, really, really promising, mate.
Right at the death, Lucas made a fab save from a Rondon free kick, but ended up 2-0 West Ham on Billy Bond's day. Tom, what's your thoughts on the overall game, tactics, etc.? Not so much your individual performances, we'll get them in a minute, but just the result, etc.
Like I said, I was delighted with the first half. I thought that was brilliant. That was where we saw some really good football played. Second half, I do think, and this isn't a negative as such, but we sort of dropped off, let them have the ball in the second half. Whether that was because we knew what a threat we'd be in a counter-attacking sense, which is fair enough. But I was always concerned that if they got one back, the nerves would creep in and we'd be under a little bit of pressure. Didn't happen though, did it? We held on, so no arguments. Some brief flashes in the second half as well. Some things like that Lanzini Rabona, I've got to mention that because I love to see that. I love a Rabona. I love Lanzini. That was just, I was purring over that, I must admit. Ryan Fredericks, the pace he shows down that right-hand side is getting better and better. So much from this performance to be excited about. And especially so, as we've already all said, really, the Lanzini and Anderson partnership. I mean, I just can't wait to see him again.
Gonzo, myself and you predicted a draw in the preview, said this would be a very hard game. We almost seemed to make a bit too easy work of it in the end. I mean, it must impress you even more when you expect us to struggle.
Yeah, well, because I thought Newcastle were going to be better than they were, but that's not to take anything away from us. I think sometimes football is a simple game, and we went into it and we discussed with Mike on the preview that Rafa Benitez was a good tactician. But sometimes tactics don't particularly come into it. We lost to Man City. We weren't unlucky to lose to Man City. Yes, the penalty. Man City won and should have won by more because they got better players than us. We won today because we have got better players than Newcastle. Our centre-backs are better than their centre-backs. Our midfield controlled it more than them. Hernandez was very, very good today as well. I thought he was... There's only 9 games left now, and he's given an Arnautovic a problem because... Hernandez is going to have to start the next game because he was so good. That link up, Tom alluded to it earlier, is very much involved with what Lanzini and Anderson were doing. And funnily enough, it was seamless actually when Cresswell went off because Cresswell was linking so well. Lanzini would drift a little bit over to the left and play those triangles and get involved with the left back, initially Cresswell, and then Masuaku, who played really, really well when he came on, namely because we were attacking so much. He didn't have to defend. Absolutely wonderful. And I just thought in almost every department, we were just better than Newcastle. We just had the better players. You mentioned in the preview, Gio, that they had some championship players. I think it showed a little bit today. But they'll be all right. And Almiron will be a good player. Rondon is a good player. Longstaff will play well. Lascelles is good. But from centre back to centre forward, we had the better players today.
I thought our football in the first half was fantastic. The amount of one-touch, two-touch football we were playing. Anderson and Lanzini, there was one point, Lanzini just flicked it off to Anderson. He probably gave Anderson a 50-50 ball. It was close for the Newcastle player. But Lanzini did it and just trusted. He just trusted Anderson. He just ran and just thought he's going to get there. And if he gets there, he's going to be able to find me. And he just took off. And Anderson did get it. He skipped past his player and gave it back to Lanzini. And all of a sudden, we're 3-on-3 heading into Newcastle's box. And you just think this is what we'd be missing. Because if that was any other player, A, they might not have got there. And B, they probably wouldn't have had the quality to go find Lanzini that quick again. But them two in particular, I wish they were closer together for a bigger duration of the game. I thought Anderson had an off game, but he was still okay, but I don't think he was as good as he could be. But there was enough touches between them. I thought Snodgrass, the link up with Snodgrass and Lanzini was good. We controlled that midfield fantastically well. They couldn't get a sniff. All this talk about Longstaff, well, he couldn't get near Noble and Vice today. Or I thought Hernandez as well, but they didn't. They had a few bits and pieces, Newcastle, but we dealt with it. And Gonzo's right. I think we just had the better players on the day. Pellegrini got his tactics spot on. He got his substitutions spot on as well, every single one of them. The only one that we'll talk about in a second is the striker change, if you like. But Tom, individual performance players time. I've got a feeling there's a few people ready for some praise.
Yeah, there is. I mean, you've got to mention the centre-backs, as we already have. I just thought they were terrific. They just controlled everything back there. Ogbonna's just become a totally different player. Gonzo's already said all my thoughts on Ogbonna, really. Absolutely fantastic. I never thought I'd be saying that Balbuena shouldn't come straight back into the team, but that's the case because he's throwing in 8 out of 10s every week for the past 3 or 4 weeks now. He's been terrific. Mark Noble, especially in the first half, was fantastic today. I thought he was really up for it. He was controlling things. He was bursting forward. He was linking up with the likes of Lanzini and Anderson himself. I thought he was terrific. I thought he ran the midfield. Anderson's a joy to watch. But Lanzini, how I've missed him and how we've all missed him. He was terrific. And like I said, I just can't wait to see more and more of him because he's only going to get better and better. This was his first start. I can't believe he lasted as long as he did. On the 60-minute mark, I kept thinking he's coming off any minute. And he didn't. And he didn't fade. He just looked fantastic the whole time he was on the pitch. Some wonderful little bits of magic. Had a great chance where I was just willing him to score. I really was. But yeah, he's going to get better and better, mate. And yeah, that's about it, really.
Gonzo, 14 West Ham players, take your pick.
Tom's point there is possibly the point of the day after Billy Bond's day, of course. Lanzini playing for the full 93 minutes or whatever it was is the biggest news we could possibly get. I was like him. I was thinking. Oh, I even said it's my daughter's birthday today. My old man's here. We're watching the. We got back. We hurried back. We watched the game in the lounge. And I said to my old man, "Oh, there's your hour." I said, "There's your hour." Lanzini come off. No. And it kept on going on. He's on. And he said to me, "See, he looks all right." And he kept on driving at him. He kept on trying these flicks. He was trying dummies. Absolutely brilliant. That's great news for us. You talk about him giving players confidence. There was one point with Rice in particular, and I do think he gave a lot of players confidence. Rice had drifted out to the left side, and we were very strong down the left today. Rice cut inside and passed it short to Lanzini. Now, normally we would carry on and the ball would carry on to other areas of the pitch. Lanzini passed it straight back to Rice as if to say, "Go on, mate, have another go." Rice passed it straight back to Lanzini. Lanzini passed it again, went, "There you go, mate." And I just think that builds confidence because what it's saying is, I trust you. And it's Lanzini, without speaking any words, just by giving it a yard ahead of Rice, is saying, "Go on, mate, you go and play. I trust you." The confidence that gives players on a football pitch has got to be magnificent and really, really important. The centre-backs, they do deserve... That was comfortable today for a lot of time because of them. Rondon will score more goals this season. There's 9 games left and Rondon will score. Almiron will trouble a lot of defences. But I tell you what, not our one. Not our defence at all. I thought Fredericks is settling into there. Magnificent how that back line and that offside trap is working, and he's become a big part of that. His recovery pace is excellent. Just want him when he's on the attack just to get his head up. I just get his head up, but that's going to come as he trains more with Pellegrini, and he gets more used to the system. He'll start getting his head up and start seeing the options inside. But there's wonderful Rice, Hernandez. I mean, just so many. And as you say, Snodgrass's deliveries, but mouth-watering, Gio.
When you have Lanzini and Anderson on the pitch, you can have a Snodgrass on the pitch as well. And we've said this before, when you almost have Antonio and Snodgrass, it becomes a little bit too grafty, if you like. You can get one of them in the team as long as you've got the other flair players in there. And it was the right balance today. I wouldn't. It's not that I wouldn't want to see it, but if you were to take out Anderson and put Antonio in, it would become a bit grafty again. I think we have the right balance in there today. We'll go on about Lanzini in a second. I thought the centre-backs were just fantastic. Before, when Balbuena first got injured, you used to think, oh, how many are we going to concede today? Actually, now you think, does that attack have enough to beat our centre-backs? You start to err on the side of, well, not really. Rondon's good in the air. So is Ogbonas. So is Diop. Well, Diop's not his best in the air, but Ogbona's fantastic in the air. On the floor, Diop is as fast a centre-back as I know in the Premier League. He's comfortable with the ball at his feet as well. And you just think they've got everything between them. It's good to see Ogbonna grow into the role, if you like, and get used to a back four. And like you said, Diop's taken over leadership. I thought Fredericks has made that right back position his own now, actually. You said there's 9 games left for, and Anavic has got a problem. Well, Zabaleta's now got a problem because he has to play so many games to get that extra contract extension. He's not quite there yet. And in all fairness, it's Fredericks to lose, if you like. And I think a lot of West Ham fans would have said, yeah, Zabaleta gets his contract extension. It'd be interesting to have that talk again, because does he get his contract extension now? Because we've now got a younger Fredericks there, and the opportunity is maybe there to bring Ben Johnson in as a centre right back, or just go and get a better one, being linked with Antonio Valencia. Not really keen on that. But the point is, we're not as desperate as we maybe were a few months ago because of the performances of Ryan Fredericks. Thought the midfield too were superb. The biggest compliment Rice and Noble can get is that Longstaff got subbed at half-time. That's the guy who's got all the hype around the country. And rightly so, he's a fantastic player. His pass to Manquillo at the end of the first half was beautiful. If Perez didn't run after it as well and went into the box, they could have scored from that. Beautiful pass, but that's all he did. So credit to R2. But it's just praise all around the pitch, if you like. I'm going to keep Lanzini because, well, it's man of match time in a second, isn't it? So I think, without giving too much away. But Hernandez as well. There's a lot of pressure on Hernandez because a lot of fans, including me, you and Mike on the preview, said Anavic for me. And, it would be easy to forgive him if Hernandez has got this self-doubt. Oh, does X, Y, Z prefer Anavic? Does his teammates prefer Anavic up front? But actually, you're right, Gonzo. He starts the next game. He was good tonight. He was unlucky not to score. He got his penalty, etc. There's lots to be positive about. So, with all that in mind, Tom, can I get your final words on the match, please, and your man of match?
Yeah, just delighted to get 3 points. Sets us up now. We've got a decent run of games where we can pick up a good total, hopefully push for that 7th place. I know that's not the be-all and end-all. It don't mean nothing, but it would be nice to do it. So 3 points today, vital. Man of the match. This really isn't an easy question, and that's testament to how well we played, I suppose. But arguably, Mark Noble would have deserved it for his first half performance. He was on for it for me. Ogbonna probably does deserve it for the 90-minute performance, but I'm going to give it to Lanzini just because I love him. And I was just so delighted to see him come back and play so well. Yeah, as simple as that for me, mate.
Gonzo, your final words and your hammer of the match.
Yeah, I mean, just on Lanzini there, I'm not going to give man of the match to. How impressive is it that somebody can... He's got eyes in the back of his head. I mean, he really has to play those dummies. Twice, he flicked it with his back. He had his back to the left wing, and he flicked it and knew where Anderson was. Now, obviously, we're not there. I'm guessing he's done that quickly before the camera panned onto him. Ron Greenwood used to have a coaching philosophy, and this is where a lot of West Ham's passing philosophy, the West Ham way, has come from. And Ron Greenwood's philosophy was always, to Trevor Brooking tells his story, have a picture in your mind before you receive the ball. Before you receive the ball, know what you're going to do. Well, Lanzini just does that. He's made a big, massive difference to the team, and it's absolutely mouth-watering. I know the popular thing is to give it. I heard the Tannoy said, Manuel Lanzini, man of the match. It was the popular choice, and he's close. But I've got to give it to Diop. And I'm just going to touch on this because I was gobsmacked, because you alluded to it at the start when Noble went off and that armband went on to Arnautovic. Because it should have gone on to Rice, would be the natural one, but Diop is becoming a real leader there as well, and it should have gone on to one of those two. The way he's marshalling that defence, the way he's organised it, he is a dominant. Pellegrini's bought well, and I'm not selling our players off, but I do wonder how much that guy is worth. We've spoken about a lot of others. How much is Anderson worth? How much is Rice worth? How much Diop's worth? But it seems whoever's playing alongside him, it's Diop that stays. It's whether Ogbonna or Balbuena plays next to him, and that's my man of the match.
Yeah, I agree with the captain thing. That did not when Noble went off and gave it to Arnautovic. I was like, oh no, that's it's a positive day, the Billy Bonds day. It's a win. Everyone's playing well, and you just thought. And it's actually it's funny because you don't want to come on the review and be negative. You don't want to have to bring anything negative to it, but. That was, for me, something I just thought, didn't sit right, because you mentioned, too, the third person I was thinking of was Fabianski. I thought, there's a guy who's been an absolute rock all season, the most experienced player on the pitch. Now, I know it's not traditional to give your keeper the armband, but we're not talking about him being captain for the rest of the season. He's been captain for 15, 20 minutes when Noble's off the pitch. Just go back and give it to him. Also, it wastes a load of time, and Mark Noble's got to trudge all the way back to the 18-yard box and give it to him. I thought Arnautovic was poor as well when he came on. I don't know. It's just he comes on when we're 2-0 up, so it's difficult for him to get in the game. There was only one spell I thought he did well, and that's when he held it up and laid Lanzini off. But apart from that, there was a couple of times it broke down with him involved in the play. I just thought, well, for someone coming on at 2-0, you really do need to take your chance. If you want any chance of starting against Cardiff, you need to come on and put in an 8 out of 10 performance, probably score or set up a goal as well. But the decision for me, for Pellegrini, is easy for the next game. You don't change that 11. Lanzini is my man of match, but what he also did was Pellegrini at one point, I think Newcastle had a throw-in or something, and you could see him speaking to Lanzini. Lanzini almost told him to piss off. You could see Lanzini's arms kind of going, nah, as if to say, I'm fine, just leave me alone, just I'm fine. So you could see... But that's fantastic. That's our manager saying to our player, are you okay in your opinion? And Lanzini's gone, yeah, Gaffer, I'm all right. Just leave me be. I'm fine. And Pellegrini's gone, brilliant, because you often see, don't you? You often see managers think, actually, I'm going to take him off. And then your player's like, I'm fine. I'm managing okay. I'm having a good game. Just let me keep going. Guy's been out for 8 months. You wouldn't think it. It looks like he's been out for 8 days or something. And the injury he had as well was a monster injury. That could be a career-changing injury, but it doesn't look to have impacted him. The touches and flicks he does is fantastic. I call it, it's my own little saying, I call it a football radar. Some players have it and some players don't. Alex Song had it and Lanzini's got it. He just knows where everybody on the pitch is without even looking. And he just knows what he wants to do, and he knows what he wants other players to do. And I almost feel like what he does compared to maybe Anderson doesn't is he knows his teammates' capabilities. So he knows not to stick a 30-yard pass in front of Mark Noble and go, get on the end of that, son. Because he knows Mark is not that fast, so he won't do it. Whereas I think Felipe Anderson sometimes will just do that pass and go, well, I expect you to get on the end of that. Well, that's maybe so, but not that one player. I just think Lanzini's a bit more switched on. He's by far our best footballer, and it's generally a pleasure to watch Lanzini play football. I enjoy watching Lanzini play football. He makes you, as a football fan, you don't want Lanzini to get subbed off. You want him to stay on the pitch because that is what you want to watch. Like Tom said, that Rabona at the end there, he didn't have to do that, but he adds a little bit of sparkle to the game, a little bit of showbiz, and that's what we all want to see at West Ham. But anyway, that's it from us three happy hammers on Billy Bonds Day. Let us know in the comments below what you thought. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here. Myself and Gonzo will try and squeeze in a cup of tea or some sort next week because there's quite a bit to talk about, including the stands getting squared off, etc. We've not spoke about that yet. And then we'll have our Cardiff preview next week and the review as well. Also, check out our second channel, the Hammers Chat Forum channel. Link in the description below. If we've got any reaction videos from any of the guys or girls over there, that'll be going up on the channel over the next day or two. So keep your eyes on that. There's loads of content going up. And Mike, of course, will be back on Monday with his Mike on Monday. So we'll catch you in a bit. Thank you very much for joining us.